Alrighty, we are back at it again, continuing from yesterday, and we're diving straight into the enchanter here. So this is what happened. So I can effectively replicate the bug, luckily, for why the first person on a server can't use their abilities. Something going on with the where is it? All right. So I've kind of come to a thought here. That it might be really good for the game as a form of simplification. So effectively, I can now have, and I really enjoy, 6 abilities per button, which is kind of insane, right? You have your R1, 2, 3, and then you have your crit R1, crit R2, and crit R3. And they can be fully fledged abilities themselves, which is kind of insane. And so it's kind of nutty. And obviously 6 times 8 turns into like what, 48 abilities? Is that right? 6 times 8, I think that's 48. Yeah, 48 abilities potential. And so instead of calling them critical hits, I'm turning them into critical abilities. And that right away is kind of cool. But it does complicate things a lot. 8 buttons with 48 ability possibilities. And that brings the question, do I lower the amount of buttons you have? I feel like 8 is pretty small as it is. Going down to 6. Or 4. So if I did 4, that's 4 times 6, which is back to 24. But then again, it goes down to the fact of I could just have 4 as your bottom bar, your Shift Q E R. These could be your main rotation spells. And then everything above is utility based, which don't get rotations. But I still feel like I want them all to kind of have it, with the exception of buffs. Well, that's a decision for another day. I have my agenda today is to get the enchanter, at least get the enchanter done, and have some new features for the combat system to implement because of the enchanter. So, yeah, I'm going to start with the, let's get, I'm going to have to do something a little random to test this, I think. Oh, no, I could use the enchanter pet. That should work. And so let's start with the enchant weapons. Okay, so classes, enchanter, and we're going to start with just enchant weapons here. And I'm going to have to go to the other kits and just add enchant weapon. Enchant weapon. And enchant armor. Alright, now I cast my pet. Click it and then hit 3. And it still casts enchant weapons. Which I don't think is doing anything really right now. I think it's just doing haste. Okay, so the only thing I need to do here, I believe, so we have enchant weapons, which does this stat here. And so let's start with trying a form change. This is how I do it at default from so unfortunately I think the kit changes only doesn't add passives. So I'm going to have to add another feature set here. I could potentially just piggy bank off the form change stuff. Or probably it's probably better just to create a new category. Yeah, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to save all. We're going to create a new struct. Go down to the stat component. we're going to create a new struct here. Struct statistic change passive. And for now, all we're doing is getting a data table and creating a passive to add to the character. And that's what we're going to start with. And then struct stat to add a variable. Save. I'm going to start with that, close, do all the shenanigans. And now we have to also, I think, add it to the stat all enumeration. And that one I shouldn't need to do this refresh on that one, but do it anyways. And now we go to the passive component or stat component. And we're going to do stat modify. And create some custom code for passive. Add remove a passive. And we're going to get the little switch here. And we should be able to go to form change. Where is it? Change. Okay, we're setting a bunch of stuff, saying gender things, the whatever. That's the crowd control stuff, whatever. Action kit set change. So it literally just goes into Action Manager. And then let's go to the Action Manager now. It's probably passive. Add. Let's just try action list add. That's the action list. That's not quite what I want. Passive load. Let's try passive load. Passive load. The data table will be from here. What? Okay. Oh, break. And then we have this. And then the same thing. Passive remove. And then just as a basic test, we're going to do, go to my, since I have some passes already, we're going to go to enchant weapons, or the stat change for it. And we're going to set the passive as passive. Do I have proc? No, passive. I think just Fang. What? Proc. And this should be set up as a passive, right? Yeah, that's set up as a passive. And okay, so that should be set up properly. Oh, I do need to do the value, which is a passive. Unavoidable, positive, ally self. Okay. And duration is going to just be like 60 seconds for now. Actually, I'm going to set it to like 10 seconds to see if it's going to fall on and off. So that should do it. Let's go to give it a chest. It's part of what I want to do. So I can test it right away on myself. Enchant weapon. It does not look like I added it. Oh, I did forget some things. So, let's find references for this. The stat warnings here. This has to go down here. Stat modify is good. I don't think I need this at all. Because its form changes are irrelevant. Irrelevant. And base value is also irrelevant. So I think it was just I have some like warning things. If things aren't set properly, it kind of flags the designer with an error. So now it still doesn't work. Let's see. Enchant weapons. So passive. I guess the first thing to do is, are we even getting to the passive? I'm going to close all these tabs, go back to modify. And then are we even getting here? Breakpoint. Okay, we are. And then let me just make sure this is valid too. So remove this. This is properly there, right? Proc thing, whatever. Okay. That is there. Okay, let's make sure, is this thing even set properly? Am I targeting the right thing? Action manager. Okay. So passive load. Let me see. Oh, I don't even have the actual step. Passive name. Is it a passive name problem? Proc is there. Passive. Hmm. Are we getting here? Could it be adding it? I wonder if, just as a test, oops. I wonder if my passive bar is hidden. Okay, so that obviously is working there. I added it. Okay, so I need to double check with the equipment. What am I doing with the equipment? That's what I should have thought of in the first place. So inventory, equip, action. And it's going to be passive. Okay. Strange. I guess let's just try this. Hmm. And it should be only the server running this. Server's the only thing running it. Is it the... This is set up as the passive. I guess let's go Phantom Robes, proc Phantom Robes. I must have something in my system not set up here. So this should still work then. This is not the problem. And we are triggering this. Oh, so we're not getting here. So let's go back further. Are we even getting here? Okay, we are getting here. This is wild. We're not going here because that would print an error. Passive name. We should not be getting here because we're also not getting an error. And I've confirmed that that's even set. It's not hidden. Okay. And this one is not being triggered? What? Okay, so it is being added. It's just not showing up on me. So if we save all, let's set the proc back to this. And then we're going to do a VFX here. Where is it? That should show up. Let's just give it a try. So I should be able to get my T3 pet. No way I'm getting this unlucky with procs. It must not be. Weird. It's threat meter. That's just random junk. Okay. So we get here, but it's returning false. For some reason. Right? Oh, there's probably a different... Okay. So this is coming through on the server, so that's why that's happening. So passive load. Now the weird thing is... So let me see if this is running on both client and server. When you equip a piece of loot. Okay, so that's why that is showing up. Okay. Alright, so that shows why we're not getting the icon and potentially other things. LBRB. I need to go to the bathroom. So I need to also run this on the client. And how do I do that over here? So that's all, whatever. Request client. Go all the way over here. Request server. Equip request. Equip action. Okay, that's the reset. Equip action. So where is the client version? So equipment update. Equipment update. This is not equipment change. Okay. So I think we just run this locally. So I think I'm trying to think of a way to not, fuck up too much else. So here we have so I think I'm going to want to do this. Let's just do this for now. We're going to make a client call. Client add passive client. With a data table. And we're going to do the same thing. Okay. Let's see if that changes. Oh, I didn't even call it. Dirt. So client. This data table. Then I'm going to need a corresponding one. Custom event. Let's change this passive remove client. Remove client. Oop, passive. Add client. Client. Okay. So now it should at least show up for us, right? All right, there we go. So now that I have the proc. Now the weird thing is, so maybe it's just not working on. Wait, hold up. So enchant weapons. Yeah. And it did remove it from me, so that's good. Okay, so that's that part solved. Close that, close that, close that, close that. And passive load should not change or matter based on if it's an AI or not. So it's not going to be locally controlled. So if we do this, get owner. And it should be proccing a poison. That's what we're looking for. Which applies a poison debuff. Okay, so right there. It's not adding it. I don't think. So it might be working on players right now, but not on AI. Okay, so it is working there. Am I just getting like super unlucky? Like is it just that unlucky? So let's go to proc chance. Passive. put it to 1. It says a 15% chance to proc, so there is a big chance I'm just getting very unlucky. Nope. This is a hit enemy action, right? Hit my action. So let's see if we're getting here at all. Okay. Okay. So the passive is spawning. So it is going through. All right. Remove. It was proccing every single time. Like, what the heck? So why are we not proccing? We get here. But assume we're not getting here. Okay, so we are in fact not spawning the thing. So let's just start from the beginning, I guess. What are we getting here? we are indeed getting there. Oh, I'm dark. Okay. I'm such a dork. I have this proc, have specific things it can proc off, because it's for a rogue. And so if I go to the drop down menu, rogue auto attack, that's what it procs off. So it's all working. So let's just go ahead and take this, and we're going to do, we're going to drag it into the, let's go to rotation 1, stat change set, or I guess not, rotation 1. And we're going to copy this to here, copy, proc, enchant weapon, or just enchant weapon. And now we're going to take this, and proc enchant weapon. And now we're going to clear the passive section on activate names. And so I'm probably going to have to do an activate tag now on things it can properly tag. Activate tags. I already did activate tags, so activate tags, auto action. And then let's look at the, did I set this up yet? I did not, looks like. Passive spawn, yeah. Let's see here. Okay. Let me look here. I need to implement this one feature. Okay, we go into passive spawn. And so we have a check for the name. How you doing, hun? You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, passive name. Um, so if this is valid, we're going up and checking if it's found, basically. And if it's not, we do whatever. If it's false, we'll just do now other different check. So now we're going to get the tags and basically repeat this exact thing. So false, we're going to go here first, and then false, we're going to go here. And if this equals passive action, I believe I put tags somewhere here. Did I do tags yet? Setup? Maybe passive actions. Passive action. Okay, that is it. So, all right, we need to implement that now. I thought I did do a tag. Type. I guess not. Okay. Save all here. And then we're going to go to what? The action struct. And we're just going to add a tag. I feel like I added that already somewhere, but maybe not. I might have added that in the stat system. All right, action, passives. So now we break this. Oh wait. So this is the passive action. And we're being passed the action name. Passive check. All right, passive action, action name. So I need to do something more here. So on the passive check, so this is going to come from the stat component. We also need the gameplay tag. Oops. It's going to be an array. Gameplay tags, and then on the function here, we're going to also have gameplay. Once again, gameplay tags. Okay. Gameplay tag. Add this to each and every one of these. Okay. And then we go into the actual passive spawn. And this is the passive action. And we get the gameplay tags. If this contains oh shoot, did I not do? Okay, yeah, activate tags. And we do a for each on them. And we look for contains. If it's true, it's going to set this to true. And then we break. And then if it's true, if it's false, we do nothing, which is where that broke. If it's true, we continue forward. All right, so one thing I'll just note here, make sure to add the gameplay tag auto action to all auto attacks. All right, I think that's all set up now for tags. So first up is action names here, and so I guess we have to do this as well. Is valid. And if it's true, we go down. If it's false, we pass through. And this is like the success path. So if names exist, we check for the names. If those don't exist, we check for the tags. And then if there's neither set up, then we just pass through. And we can get rid of this one reroute. Go to the level, mechanics testing. And so for now, we're going to just say, hey, no tags in this enchanter setup. Enemy, no. Players, classes, enchanter, set 1, and then proc enchant weapon. The passive, we're going to say no tags for a second. And this should now proc on my pet. So cast my pet, cast, at least I can replicate the one bug I've been having on the live server. So it has nothing there. What? I guess I chose the wrong thing. Enchanter, enchant weapons. Oh, so enchant weapon stat. Change the wrong thing. And then proc enchant weapon. There it is. And I can actually see it going off too. Alright, so now let's set my enchanter pet to like a 50-second lifetime for a sec. So he's not proccing it. Apply it. He's proccing it. Buff falls off. And now he's no longer proccing it. Cast it again. And now he's proccing it. So the buff works now. Yeah, it works great already on the pet because the enchanters are receiving pet updates. All right, that's working. We're good to there. And then I'm going to set this back to 16. And we'll do proc enchant weapon. Okay, so now we need to check the tags. So we're going to do activate tags and set auto action. And so now on all of the pets attacks, kind of a pain in the ass, but all right, so this is the main hand attack, main hand critical, melee attack, critical hit, critical hit. We don't want the stun, stun, offhand, offhand. All of these need the gameplay tag of auto action. Wait, why is this not a array? Okay, save all. I'm gonna make a change. Yep, adding the structures. So I almost have the add passive or enchant weapons buff complete here. Let's go to the stat component now. We're going to have to update all the passive checks with okay, avoidance I don't need to care about. So I can clear that out. Passive check here. I'm going to need break this, break that, gameplay tags. So I added a new feature for previously with when I had passives, it checks for a passive name to match it. In order to verify if it should trigger, and that's the type of thing like, oh, you have a passive equipped to your character, but it's only going to want to trigger off fireball or something, right? So it checks for that. It checks for that name, and so I added an additional feature where instead of a name check, I'm doing a tag check. to be more category focused. Unwrap how the resource passive check. Okay, these are irrelevant, but all of these now have the gameplay tag. Oh wait, this is statistic. Okay. That's where I messed up. That's where I did add it. Okay. So gameplay tags, passive check. All right, so that's fine. That still works. And so now, let's open up the level. Oops. So I was like, where did I add gameplay tags already? I thought I did already. I had another area for it, so that's fine. But I need to change this up anyways. So now I go to players, classes, enchanter. And I need to add the gameplay tags in the stat changes of these. So stat change. I guess it is in pet. Yeah. Pet, 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 pet. Stat change. Melee, melee critical, melee, damage, damage. I think that's all of them. And in here, we're going to do gameplay tags as auto. All right, save all. All right, I think that's everything. So the enchanter pet 1 is only 1 attack. Enchanter pet 2, I think does have 2 attacks, right? But 1 is just a stun, which I don't need to add. And it doesn't have a... Okay. It's like... All right. I think that's all there. Okay, stat change, pet melee damage. And that's for both of those. Yeah, I think I'm covered on enchanter pet abilities. And now we do auto, archer, auto, 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 auto. Oh no, it's the stat change. Auto, stat, archer, cleric, mage, rogue, warrior. And these already have auto action put in. Perfect. Alright, so cast my pet. Cast enchant weapons. And now it's applying the buff. And I think I set up the tags already on that, right? Go to enchant weapon. Or no, it's proc enchant weapon. And then the passive is set to auto action. And so if we clear that and try again, it should not proc. So pet. Cast my buff. It's proc. Oh, it's. Yeah, so it's procking. And then if I add a test, it should not proc it. Let me just respawn this thing. And then we come over here, cast my pet, enchant it. It's not procking. If I swap it, yep. Alrighty. I think I got the proc down. Or the ability to add passives through spells is the core of it. And then the next one we'll just try, so enchant. Let's go to proc Phantom Robes. So this one's set up to be a hit one. So I'm going to copy this here. And this is going to be proc enchant armor. And we're just going to, we can just probably just test this as is. I think I can just cast it on myself. Oh, I don't think I set it up properly. So enchant armor has enchant armor stat change, which needs the proc enchant armor. And this needs to be set to a passive. Enchant armor. There's my phantom robes thing. And so now when the thing hits me, it gets mezzed. Boom. I mezzed you with my spell. So the code is now set up for enchant for passives through spells, and I can filter based on tags and whatnot. So that's awesome. That's the main part. The other part later on, because if I do, this is going to be a little weird to try and test. Let's go to my controller. And we're going to randomize my class a little bit here. So random int in range. And we're going to switch int. Or not random int. We're going to do bool with weight. It's going to be, if it's true, we're going to be the enchanter. If it's false, we're going to be the rogue. I'll do like an 80% chance. Or I guess it's 50-50, whatever. Alright, here's the enchanter. What? Do we have, I don't think we do. BB. Alrighty. I'm showing that works just fine. What was I trying to test? Oh, so now I'm trying to test, which I might push off to later. Yeah, I'm just gonna push that all later. I want that whole like the UX of if I buff the rogue, though I can see the rogue's proc damage, and if anything, it hides it from the rogue a little bit, potentially, or shows both. We'll see. Because you want like the rogue to be like, oh, I really like having an enchanter in my group because I see the value of the enchanter through procs and damage. And then you want the enchanter to see, wow, I provide a lot of value to the group because of all the damage I do with my procs. Those type of things. But I'm going to like push that off to a different time. So the other real quick thing. So yeah, I don't know why I bothered with this right now. I'm going to quickly. I'll do that later. All right. Or I suppose actually I could do a preemptive change here. So this guy, find reference. So this is just doing it by string. So I can add warrior. And then let's change my class stuff. Enum class. This is now warrior. And then this is now cleric. And healer is cleric. Tank is warrior. Warrior is warrior. And cleric is cleric. And that kind of like backlogs everything. And then on character creation, I think it'll do it properly, I think. All right, cool. And then so new characters should be updated properly, whereas old characters let me just do like system work. Added the ability for critical. Added functionality for adding. Technically, it does work for debuffs too. Okay. And then I haven't actually done anything with the enchanter spells yet. I've just used kind of template stuff. So functionality is good to go. The benefit, I'm happy I dug into the enchanter first because the enchanter really is the biggest overhaul code-wise for classes. And the crazy part here is, and like I've been thinking about this, Gestra. Now we have 6 abilities per button. So on my 8-button character, I technically have 48 buttons I can actually do because of critical hit now. And so I'm gonna basically, like, through this kind of like experience of creating the enchanter, I'm gonna rebrand critical hit to like critical cast or a critical ability. And that's kind of cool now because now I've increased the amount of abilities you can actually have on your character to like 48. And so now it gets into the thing of I could limit the rotation ruins at the bottom so that would be 4 times 6, which is 24 abilities. You can have your bottom row as your rotation ruins, which is 24 abilities. Because you have your R1, R2, R3, and then you have your crit R1, crit R2, crit R3. So it's 6 abilities per button. And then you have your top 4 as more buff utility stuff. But it might just allow you to do everything as whatever. So immense amount of class customization. It might be too much, which is why I'm thinking about limiting the spells. It's going to get interesting to try and keep it all tied up. Very, very interesting. All right, so now it goes back to designing the enchant weapons, back to ability design stuff. So the obvious things we want for abilities. So memory blur for allies. We also want an AoE memory blur as well. Yeah, don't have to worry about messing up a skill tree. Yeah. I mean, we'll eventually have some sort of like, I don't know what we're going to do yet, but there's going to be a talent system to improve stuff or grant abilities, all these things. But you're also going to have a spell book like an EverQuest where, you go find an ability, then you have that ability forever, but you have to pick and choose, what things you want to use. based on your bar. Yeah, so we want an area effect memory blur, um, enchant weapon, a simple damage proc. I want the people to mess up their skill trees so I can sell them cash up items to reset. Yeah, not for me. Um, Again, I'm in the MMO territory. I'm trying to get, you know, indie MMO subscriptions, $8 a month or something. I'm trying to play the 2003 card of like RuneScape, and like we're trying to be the RuneScape that comes in out of nowhere and like holds an audience and gets subscriptions and stuff. So enchant weapon is damage proc. Um, enchant armor is a tough one. Um, I don't want healing. Um, I don't really want to just give the player armor. Um, there could be a like a shield situation here. I could also do like longer duration buffs that do, yeah, subscription models keeps bought. That's my goal. That's why I don't think an MMO in today's day should be free to play. I think the hassle of bots, because community is probably like one of the most important things for any MMO game, online game, really. And we've seen it with Lost Ark and Ashes of Creation. Bots will be rampant in your game like crazy. So I can't do anything healing related. I might integrate the idea now of, because this is kind of critical to combat too, I might integrate the idea of stagger. And then you could have on your team, uh, you know, simple stagger proc. And then your team is adding a stagger, adding to stagger on the target. And so it's not stunning, but if you have lots of people trying to, procking stagger, um, it will eventually lead up to the monster being knocked down, so to speak. Um, so it might be another mechanic I integrate. And stagger is also really key for my kind of combat system, because stagger is going to like trigger 50% more damage or something to the target, as if they're weakened in a weakened state. Um, and that's when you want to like hold your crit, your powerful crit spell or thing. It's like, oh, the stagger bar is getting up very high. I'm going to stop. I'm going to make sure I'm ready to launch my biggest attack, my R3 big attack at that one moment to maximize damage. And then the last thing. So we have a damage proc, a stagger proc. One thing on enchant armor I would love to do is basically like I did with phantasm robes, like a one hit, consumed gets mezzed buff. Um, so like you can put a 5-minute buff on a healer or enchanter, and if something comes and smacks you, they automatically get mezzed for like a short duration. Short duration. Mez. What else we got? We could do like a 3-hit. I'm trying to think of how I do that. I can't do anything healing related. Enchanters don't heal. It's like one thing could be interesting, like a 1 to 3 hit. Like I guess damage reduction. So it just reduces damage for like 3 hits or something. Oh, and a knockback. 1 hit consumed knockback. I could do, and I could have enemy target enchant weapons as well. Which gets into a little bit of EverQuest enchanters where they could slow and stuff. But I feel like that'd be a different spell. I could have like disenchant weapon or curse weapon, but that's a little bit non-thematic. I feel like enchanter is any type of negative version of the enchanter could be a whole other class, like a witch doctor or something when you're about curses. And that's one way I don't want to make the enchanter like in EverQuest. The EverQuest that had the slows, and which in EverQuest terms that was an attack speed slow, and also magic resist reductions. damage proc, a stagger proc. What else we got? And then Mez. So critical hits, critical casts, or critical abilities. R3 is an AoE for sure. I could just for now make everything an AoE based. I could make one like something a ground target AoE, and then this is like a PB AoE. And then this one could be a target AoE. Our own caster. So different ways to cast Mesmerize. And this is like largely the same as Memory Blur in some ways. AoE Memblur. That is going to be a fun combo for sure. Okay. So one more enchant weapon at least for now, and then the crit ones could just be better versions of them at the moment. Yeah, the crit ones could be group buffs too. Last enchant weapon. I don't want dots. I don't want it to be in that, the enchanter to be in that thematic space. Stagger procs is key, so I definitely need to integrate a stagger mechanic. And then I could just do raw stats too. I could do like a power buff, which would help everyone. I could also be more specific of like, you know, to be a little more thematic, you know, physical damage boost, magical damage boost. And it's a bit more in the thematic scenes. I think I'm going to let that cook a little bit in my brain, take a break for food, and then come back later. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. But Enchanter, I should be done the Enchanter today for sure. It's kind of getting so cool. How everything's working. Yeah, I'm going to let that sink. I'll see you guys soon, a little bit later. Bye-bye.